Else, this is a pretty good fucking shot, isn't it? So, guys, look, I know what's cracking. Omar Yusuf here. I know what everyone's gonna say. There's a beautiful bench right behind us. I don't know if you can pan to that one else or you pan to that other one. I'm surrounded by beautiful benches. Benches that would make you envious if you sat on them. And instead, I'm standing underneath this pole. But sometimes you have to illuminate your life, illuminate your existence. And I'm talking about a pretty serious topic today. I'm gonna try and do it with a little bit of tact, hopefully. What Rich Piana can teach us about lifting and ultimately, honestly, life. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. Rich Piana passed away, a while back. I think it was in August. RIP to Rich Piana. But what can we learn from Rich Piana's life? And I'm being dead serious when I say this. There is a line or phrase that I'm gonna keep repeating, which is called "kill your idols." And I think sometimes for a lot of us, when we are interested in anything, when we're interested in lifting, if we're interested in bodybuilding, we want to see the freak of freaks. But is excess a good thing? Is being that obsessive admirable? Is that the qualities that we want to be departing on to other people, preaching to individuals that follow us? And does it create maybe a negative feedback loop where then other people, they feel they have to live up to those expectations, and then instead of enhancing our quality of life lifting, it actually detracts from it? Here's what I mean. Rich Piana was a bodybuilder. He talked about 5% nutrition, 5% himself, how he was the freak of freaks. He was willing to do what other people weren't. And for a lot of mediums, a lot of different arts or jobs or professions, that once again is admirable. You look at some of my favorite artists or some of the best artists of the 21st century. You look at guys or 20th century even, let's go a while back, Jaco Pastorius on the bass. You look at Charlie Parker, they all died at 32, 35, Jimi Hendrix, 27, all these musicians that took their craft incredibly seriously and they were hyper dedicated. They were obsessive with what they did, but they all died early deaths. And that is, I think, in large part because when I say kill your idols, there's a certain expectation to be a certain way, to keep pushing certain boundaries. And if that's you, that's totally fine as long as you know what you're getting into. But I think the path of moderation, and so I can only speak for myself, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience, and once again, this is my opinion. If I was to say moderation, I personally feel that the natural life is kind of the life of moderation versus sustainable life. And I'm gonna give an example when I talk about lifting, when I talk about the gym, when I talk about everything. And that would be the gym I went to before Fortis Fitness was a gym where a lot of former bodybuilders used to go, bodybuilders that lifted in the 50s, 60s. There's a guy by the name of Tom. And Tom, I never told Tom this, but Tom was my idol, someone that I looked up to. I shouldn't say idol, someone I looked up to, okay? Him and Pete. These are two guys. Pete was probably 55. Pete was jacked out of his mind. He had been training since he was probably 16, so that's 40 years of lifting. He was still front squatting 3 plates, benching 3 plates for reps. Tom, who had the powerlifting record, I think, I want to get these guys honestly on the channel, but Tom anyways was, I think, 74. Dude was like 6'1", had huge arms bigger than me straight up, and he was still benching, 225 for reps, doing his thing at 74 years old, and he had a light in his eyes, right? He did this for the duration of his life lifting. And once again, my personal opinion is lifting should enhance your life. If you want to go to the very top, then ignore some of what I'm saying. But for most of you, the vast majority of people, you're probably looking to get certain things out of lifting. Self-betterment, determination, the way you look, the way you feel, how you regard yourself, personal integrity. There's a lot of different qualities you could try and work on. But Rich Piana taught us that once again, he built a big following talking about his obsessiveness, his dedication, his next level. So everyone's here, he wants to be here, even if it killed him. The drug stacks that he used. I don't know too much about steroids, but I think the amount he used would be qualified as the highest level. And so once again, we could watch that, we could be voyeurs into other people's lives, but if it impacts our own lives, maybe it might not be a good thing if we don't understand what we're getting into. I'm not saying he had a bad message at all. I'm saying that I have received DMs and I've talked with individuals, young kids that have been influenced. They see all their idols, they're super jacked, they know that they're enhanced, they want to follow that because they see the reward, right? Being natural, being moderate, being normal, there's no real reward, right? It's average, and nobody wants mediocrity. They want to try and excel under any condition. And so what you'll notice with a lot of these people is then these young kids, they'll go on stacks, they'll start using drugs and so forth, and they have no idea what they're doing, and they get burnt out. So instead of this whole fitness thing where fitness makes you feel good, lifting makes you feel good, training, you're dedicated towards a certain goal and you're making, objective progress, you kind of go in, going way too hot, get burnt out, and then you piece yourself out of doing this discipline that's supposed to enhance your life. And so when I say the line, what can Rich Piana teach us, is that maybe for most people, a life of moderation would be beneficial. And there is a line from Yojimbo, which is one of my favorite films, Akira Kurosawa. I recommend everyone to watch that movie, for my boy Toshiro Mifune, where at the end, he says to this guy that goes from being essentially a farmer to being a bandit, he said, perhaps a life, I think, eating barley or millet would be best for you, meaning that you're not cut out for this. You need to know. You need to know what you want to pursue in life. If you want to be the next Arnold, again, ignore what I'm saying. But we take a look at this video, we take a look at this channel, and there's hundreds of thousands of people watching it. It's not saying be mediocre, but know what you want. And so I say the path of moderation is not a path of mediocrity, right? I'm just as dedicated. I go to the gym 6 times a week. I've been loving the progress, and I love, honestly, the way I look now, the strength levels I've been able to obtain. If I was to tell my 18-year-old self, this is what you would achieve, I think I'd be very happy with the results. Or if I was to tell my 18-year-old self, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? And so sometimes you need to know what your limit is. And so I was just thinking about this because, once again, I saw that documentary with Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman's another guy that burnt that candle bright on both ends. And so as a result of that, now he can't quite walk. He has hip issues. He has back issues. Really, you know, banged up, and my heart goes out to him, but he was willing to take those risks and reach that level. Is that necessary for you in this given discipline? Hey man, you want to be the best movie director of all time? Be obsessive as fuck. But if this isn't your #1 life goal, it's part of your life, it's supposed to enhance it, rethink what you're doing. So I was just thinking about this. I receive DMs all the time, and I don't want to make any of them public or anything, but some of the kids, they make me sad. They really bum me out, okay? Where I read some of these things, I'm like, damn man, like you're literally 19 years old. You haven't even been lifting for 3 years. And so I think we influence as content creators how people think, and so I owe it to myself, I owe it to other people out there. I have a sense of responsibility, which is why sometimes I've curbed some of the things I've said in the past, because with age, hopefully comes just a little bit of wisdom. Anyways, guys, that's all I really wanted to say in this video. This is why I think we kill our idols, because we actively encourage as consumers this behavior. And so maybe we need to think about that, and we need to think about our own goals. And just because you have no calves doesn't mean it's a bad thing at all. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, I like doing these talks. You know, we're out here, it's a little bit cooler. Actually, the sun is set by this time, which is why we're underneath this pole. I give this bench house a moderate 6. I give this one an enhanced 12 out of 10, okay? That one doesn't have a long period, not a long shelf life. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, you made it all the way to the end of the video, give this damn video a like, and I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace!
Your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.